It's love, man. It's love. There's some tuning in. It's like Tantra. When we
Mm.
sing, it's making love. We're just making love through our voices and through our expression of our feeling for each other, you know. There's something that you can't articulate. And you can hear it in people's voices that
Mm.
are supposed to not be able to sing, like, say, Leonard Cohen, you know, and yet, or Bob Dylan, these
Mm.
guys, they weigh every little syllable. They know exactly what they're talking about,
And what it
and
means to them. Yeah.
they're masters, you know.
There goes a sight from my soul.
Welcome to the Inspired Evolution. And it is an absolute treat to be here today. We have with us Mithun. Mithun, how are you?
Hey, you guys. I'm so happy to be with this crazy dude. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you all for a while. Whatever happens, let's see.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. For those tuning into Mithun for the first time, guys, do yourself a favor, check out some of his music online, easily found. Just YouTube Mithun. He's been touring for over 32 years now, traveling around the world, sharing music. Man, there are not enough words that could probably articulate this, but just the devotional sense and the way that the prayers are carried, it's hard to sort of differentiate the line between song and prayer, between what I find Mithun shares with all of us, with his partner Deva Pramal as well. Love her work, and yeah, it's just such a blessing to share in the space with you today. I know the Inspired Evolution community intimately, and I know that we love your music intimately as well. So it is an absolute pleasure to sort of peek under the hood, behind the curtain a little bit, to sort of tune in with you here today. So thank you so much for doing this with us. I remember when we
Well,
were tuning in for a like last time, just having a bit of a casual chat around some of this. You were talking about the discrepancy between um, sort of making music for music's sake versus actually learning to listen. And there's a quality that you when you before you even start your shows is that you'll stop and allow silence almost to unfold or something. Now I'm putting words to something that you were describing, and I should probably stop doing that. But there's like a quality within the silence, dropping in slash waiting for music to emerge from the silence. Can you unpack slash explain this process for us, and why it's important for you?
well, it's important for any musician, really. It's just that we forget and we don't give ourselves time, especially in the music industry and the way of using music just for excitement
Mm,
or or um, or to dance to. So many beautiful ways. Music is such a bountiful and beautiful spirit, but
mm,
you have an opportunity to meet music in silence.
mm,
That's where the music is. So the music is not just sound and silence. So we know the sound. We're just meeting music in silent space. And once you get that, it's like your meditation. You can be hearing music. You can be in silence with music all the time.
and does that imply? Sorry, please. Were you
So
gonna say something?
that's
Yeah.
that silence invites sound.
Mm,
When you're a musician, you can just go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then off you go. Or
mm,
you can just wait and breathe and just feel the space, feel the silence, uh, and uh, and that's your meditation. Then you start to realize it's not about ego; it's just about enhancing the silence. So, however you can do that, with the most intent. Other people do it in so many different ways to enhance silence. But
mm.
you have to first be in tune with it. You either hear or you listen. That's very different. Hearing is you just hear everything. But how often do we stop to really listen? And, once we listen, we can't listen with a busy mind. Those two things don't go together. You can't, man. If you're listening, you're listening. You're listening. And you're just hearing whatever sounds God gives you, whatever creation of orchestra you are being offered is right there. So you just listen to it. And while you're doing that, you're not thinking, oh, what am I going to be doing tomorrow? You're just not. And that's how music and silence works. It helps us to move into a space where everything is perceived from a silent standpoint. Everything is silence. And then whatever comes in, sometimes it's discordant, sometimes it's noise, sometimes it's traffic, whatever it is, it's all music, and it all is encompassed in our experience of silence. And then it gets good, because then you can really refine. It's not just you can refine it. You listen to a beautiful piece of music and you see, and when you not just listen, but that's one thing, but for a musician, that's where you begin. If you can tune into that, your first note will be it will be as essential as the last one, if you know what I mean. It's like it's first note is opens the door, and that last note closes the door, and you come back into a space of enjoying yourself from inside. So you are becoming friends with yourself through the connection with silence. And music is just a great way of expressing it. So when me and David do our concerts, we can come up on the stage there, and everybody, we're all happy to see each other. We're all happy. There's lots of energy, lots of clapping, lots of smiles, lots of warm welcome. And it's fun, man.
I wonder why.
Sure, and we sit down in our chairs and we don't move. We just close our eyes because we need to settle ourselves down. So rather than just rushing into the first piece of music, we're stopping. We're holding our space. We're breathing. All the audience, they've been like this, and suddenly, slowly, we all come into a silence. All thousands of us just sitting in silence. No reason. There we are. No coughs. Just a pure silence. There comes Deva, and that's it. That's how it is. David can bring us through with the mantra. I can be honored to accompany it and embellish it and sing and do harmony and help this whole thing to unwind and unfold. But it can't come, you can't do it until you begin in the right place. So you need something else.
Yeah, I love that. And there's almost what I'm feeling into is like the alchemy of turning silence into sound, but then also feeling into, the shift that I know when listening. I love the way you differentiated hearing to listening. That was really potent for me personally just then. Very penny drop moment. And the alchemy of sort of what's happening for us as the audience when we're listening to the music and feeling like the feelings shift, move, be unpicked, and unraveled, and there's like an alchemy that goes on emotionally as well in that space.
But then it goes beyond emotion. That's where it gets good. When it goes beyond emotion. So it's not sadness, it's not joy, it's not about a love affair. It's got nothing to do with anything. in like that. So it goes beyond the emotion. And there you start to find there's nothing. There's the silence and there's the sounds and there's vision. And that's it, you know. And once you're there, then you can tune into whatever you want. You can close your eyes or you can look at the stage where we're playing, or, you know, and we can look at you. And it's just a moment of refined sound that we bathe in together, all of us. They're refined sound bites. There you go. Refined sound bites. They are refined. They're thousands of years old, these Sanskrit sounds. It's not just like a language. It's much deeper and much more profound than just a language, Sanskrit. And so, you know, you get to chant these ancient sounds that have gone through the ages, and you know what? You get to put beautiful music to them. And then you get to hear everybody singing with you and singing together, and the whole thing is just heavenly, you know, it's heavenly. And that's all I know about music. And I learned everything I've spoken about, I've learned through all my years, from when I was a rock musician and when I was a folk musician and when I was this, I was that. And then I came to Osho and I learned what real music was. And it was a totally different experience. And that's what this is with me and David. It's just music in a way that Osho said, this can help people, can help you, and, you know, sing.
Yeah, there's an interesting, because I was going to ask you how you went from, like, I know there's been a massive journey, like music, because you make it this beautiful accompaniment to mantras, and it's like, yes, absolutely, it's more than beautiful. And so I was feeling into, just what your journey from all the background in music came when you came to Sanskrit, and like that real, like where the journey of the depth of the awareness of the understanding of Sanskrit as a language / technology, even, let's probably go that far, really started to understand and precipitate for yourself. But I know just before that juncture, like you said, when you were at Osho's, you actually, I don't want to say you hung up the guitar, but you actually didn't play for a while there.
Well, you know, listen, I've been, this is half a century of music for me, you know, right now. I'm 75 and my first record was when I was 24. So it's like half a century, and it's just a journey, man. And what happened was there were many, this you will find, you probably know this anyway, and you probably experienced it for sure, is that we have guides and spirits on our journey. A little, you said, a light bulb moment. Is that what you called it? Like little things happen on our journeys, and some people affect us in a more profound way than others. But the experience is that we are blessed to experience even the tough ones. You know, they are potentially they're seeds. You know, they're seeds for our growth. And music started to be a commodity to me. It started to, I lost the innocence, and I was doing it for money. I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. And it didn't take me that long to realize I was doing something inconsequential. Just it's nothing really. And I was just, my songs were therapy, but that was all. And of course, I was in London, and there was opportunities, and people would sign you to record deals, and you'd put out records, and you'd get into the machine of making music for the publisher, making music for the record company, and even more dangerous, making music just for yourself, you know, like for making music for money for yourself. And so it got really damaging in a way. And of course, when I at last I felt meditation, I knew what it was. I was beginning to be helped and taught meditation with Osho. I heard the music that they were playing, and I was not qualified, man. No way. These guys were playing from such a freedom and such a let go and so no ego. And people were singing the simple, there is so much magnificence near the ocean, waves are coming in, waves are coming in, thousands or hundreds of people all singing these songs, and the band would be, like something out of the 60s, Grateful Dead or something, like a very 60s hippie kind of music, and it was fantastic. So I just knew I had to heal. I just had to heal my body and my spirit. I'd been damaged not just by my musical career, but by family things and leaving my family and leaving people behind who I loved. I had to go through a lot of pain to actually arrive at a point in my life when I was open to receive. I didn't know, I didn't know I'd come to that point. And so I was open to the universe, and I started to look, like I remember, going to different kind of meditation things, looking for whatever this is. And I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't experience it, but I knew there was something. And then somebody gave me a book, and the book did it. The book did it. It was I've told this story many times, but I'll tell it again and again because it's really interesting. It was a book that contained 10 transcriptions from Osho's discourse.
Yeah.
And they were all on the topic of Zen.
Yeah.
There were 10 Zen parables, and Osho spoke on them. They made note, and that was the book, and it was called No Water, No Moon.
No Water, No Moon.
No Water, No Moon. And the story of that parable, it got me on the path. It was a very sweet and beautiful Zen story about a Zen nun. Her name is Chihiro, and she is going to the well at midnight to get the water. And on the way back towards the monastery with the water, suddenly as she looks in the water, she sees the reflection of the moon, the full moon. It was a full moon night. So she sees the reflection of the moon in the bucket of water. And at that moment, the bucket broke, and she became enlightened, because she realized her whole life she thought that the reflection was the real thing. And when that broke, she turned and saw the real glorious form. And she became enlightened, And I did that, man. And I'm like, okay, I'm going, because this is my music. I thought the music was the reflection. I thought it was the real thing. I didn't know. I turned around and I saw and I come to Osho's ashram, and I saw the full moon. I saw the real music. I saw the music, and so then I just let that be, and spent a year or so just learning how to meditate, washing the rice in the kitchen, chopping the carrots, just being a simple contribution to be allowed to be part of this amazing experiment. So I was happy. I was just in there, and I'd listen to the music, and I'd cry my eyes out and cry my heart out and sing my heart out, and everywhere around me were brothers and sisters in the same, just like you, man. Laughing. Just like, wow. This is different. This is what I've been looking for. This is real, And then, and so I didn't need to make music. I was really not in any way thinking to make music. But one day, I picked up a guitar because I could write songs. It's what I did for a living back. You know, it's like being a dentist. You know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just wanted to say thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to the master, you know. And this little song came to me, and I played it. It was very simple. And it started to come back. The music started to come back. And it just carried on. It just carried on flowering and flowing and flowing. This going on like 40 years or something now, you know. And then I met Deva, and Deva was not singing. Deva was not a singer in any way in the ashram. No. Deva joined the ashram when she was about 17. She'd been living in India since she was about 17, and we met when she was 20 and 21. We started to sit down together and sing together. And that's how it all started with me and Deva. They were just helping her. I was helping her to feel her voice, helping her to breathe, open her chest, helping her to relax her throat. All these things that you learn over the years, I could help her with that. And I could help her with how to be on the microphone, because I was playing by this time, I'd come fully embraced music again, and I was given the honor of coordinating the evening music for the meditation music for the gathering with Osho coming, and so I'd had a beautiful apprenticeship from the early days in the rock and roll music to learning what real music is. I was being prepared for that. Now I see it. When I look back on it, it's just obvious, you know. And so I was being prepared for Deva. And Deva was being prepared too. We were both being prepared in our own ways. She was born to the Gayatri Mantra. Deva was born with her father chanting the Gayatri Mantra. Deva had the Gayatri Mantra as a bedtime song all through her childhood. And then she left it just like I did, left music. She left mantras. 11 years old, they take her to meet Osho, and Osho becomes Deva. Deva Premal was Osho's name for Deva. Deva, which means divine loving. And and by the time she was 17, 18, 19, 20, in those years, she was studying bodywork, reflexology, and shiatsu, all these really amazing things that you could do in the ashram. And so she could play the little violin. Her mother was a classical musician, and she sang, and she sang nice. It was, you know, it was not fantastic, but when two people are in love, sing together, it's beautiful anyway. It doesn't have to be, you know.
Why do you think that is?
It's love, man. It's love. There's some tuning in. It's like Tantra. When we sing, it's making love. We're just making love through our voices and through our expression of our feeling for each other, you know. And so it doesn't, you know, there's something that you can't articulate, and you can hear it in people's voices that are supposed to not be able to sing, like, say, Leonard Cohen, you know, and yet, you know, or Bob Dylan, you know, these guys, they weigh every little syllable. They know exactly what they're talking about
and what it means to them. Yeah.
And they're masters, you know. So, you know, you that's another way of being a great singer. But for two people in love, there's actually, I think I heard of a tribe that you couldn't be married until you sang together for the village.
Mm.
Isn't that nice? That's once you sang for the village, then you could be married. And
Yeah. There's a lot of like, and this is probably not necessary, but there's a lot of like science coming in these days to like the sort of like neuroimaging that sort of goes on when we actually start to sing in unison together as a community, and sort of the emotional regulation that seems to be going on when we all sort of drop into a circle and start to share and sing, we all start to harmonize, where actually like our nervous systems actually like drop out, and actually there's some real therapeutical benefits to it, right?
yeah, well, you see, mantras are really breath made audible. That's what mantras are really. They calm us down. Because we breathe. When we chant together, there's only so many places where you can breathe in a mantra. So we all start to find we're all taking a breath at the same time. And we start to resonate and kind of pulse. It's not conscious, but you start to realize we're all breathing together. And you can get high on that, especially if you chant 108 cycles. Like sometimes we chant the Gayatri 108 cycles. It takes about 20 minutes, and you're just going over and over and over and over and over this phrase, and you're just allowing it to permeate your being. It's because you're invoking pure light with the Gayatri. That's what the Gayatri is. It's an invocation to pure light, the ray of the sun, not the burning sun, but the rays with the touch you. That's the Gayatri. And Deva sang the mantra to her father, just like he welcomed her into the world. The last thing he heard, Deva chanting the Gayatri mantra.
Calling in the rays of the sun. Wow.
Yeah. So we've been with this Gayatri mantra every time we play. It's just with us all the time, and it's helped me to see, because I had no experience in mantra. I didn't know anything about mantra, so until I came to Osho, and like I say, all these people singing, they'd be singing a mantra all together. Satyam Shivam Sundaram, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Yeah, everybody's singing this, this kind of mantra. I heard that. I heard Sufi mantras with Osho, but I could feel there was a power in all that stuff. But what I didn't know with the mantras, they are like, I see them now. I mean, it's just my kind of experience of them. I see them now, a mantra singing like acupuncture. And I see the mantra as the needles are the mantras, and they work in some kind of physical way that just like the needles know where to go, so do the mantras, so does the sound of the mantra. So in a way, there's so many. It's not just the singing that brings into the piece; it's the power of what we're singing. That's the difference. If we're just singing, "We are sailing," it's all beautiful, but when you're chanting Om Bhuvu Vahasvaha Savitu Valeni, when you're chanting this together, and you start to lock in, just like if you're a DJ and you suddenly lock in and everything is just like there. It's like that. It's like that with the chanting, and then then you forget. You forget to think, and that's where peace starts to come in. And the more you get into it, the deeper you go. the more joy is becoming available, because the mind is beginning to take a back seat. And what are we doing here? We're just here to be joyful. We're here to have a happiness. I don't mean pleasure, I mean the depth that comes from a life of gratitude, and a life of forgiveness, a life of compassion. These qualities, that's what gets us through. That's what gets us into the light. And I know that now through lockdown. I know it now. So many people in lockdown were isolated, stuck. And the only thing they had was me and David every day for 77 days, non-stop, every day at the same time. We would come online and stream and say, hey guys, here we are. Let's move into the Gayatri. And thousands and thousands of people came and hung out with us every day. Yeah. Just to chant with us and just to be together. So we formed an app called the Gayatri Sangha app, where it is not on Facebook, it's not on Instagram, it's our own private setup, So we have this great app. There's many thousands of us there, and we have daily meditations. We have me and David come every Saturday, and we live and we chant, and we all come together. We've got teacher features, something called teacher features. Teachers, friends like you, they come and have a session with the community and talk and share what they're doing. And so we've had beautiful thing and loads of music that we put on there, or videos and stuff. So we have vegan recipes too, some great recipes, all kinds of support for each other, so we don't get so isolated, We have a sense of community. Really.
I love that. And there's this. How do I articulate this question? The power of music to bring, or power of mantra to bring together Sangha, like the power of music and community. Like, there's we talked about the regulation, how everything comes together, but there's this, do I call it a vibe? At the risk of sounding too hippie, like the vibration of kind of what you're putting out, but also calling in through that. Like, does that, because you guys have been traveling for, like you said, 30 odd years doing this now, and pulled together quite amassed, I'm not saying you've amassed a community, but connected to community all over the world, feeling into, just the power of these mantras and what they're, does that, like, what does that, does it blow your mind? What does it do for you in terms of connection between the sounds and then connections between people through sound? Like,
Well, you have to start again then, man.
Does it
you lost me about halfway through.
I said, the question around the technology of sound to bring together community, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, there's one thing you have to also, one thing that we have to remember. It's not the end of the story when you're in a community. It's the beginning. And so music is there to support. It's there. That's why it's there to support our journey, and it's there to lift our spirits, and it's there to loosen our bodies and make us want to smile and just cry, but it's not. Music is just an expression of the community. It's a reflection of the community. That's like it is. You hear Christian music, you'll hear Christian. That's that. Gospel music, it's the community. It says who it is, you know. And mantras, um, the community, it's not guaranteed that everything's a bed of roses, you know. When we come into a community, we come naked, we come ready to learn, we come ready to participate. We come, and if you have the concept, it's not just a commune, but it's an ashram where there's an enlightened master teacher. If you come into that energy and you start to feel that you, for some reason, you can trust this process, and you stick around, and before you know it, 5 or 6 years have gone, and you know, and you just full of this feeling of, wow, what happened to my life? This is incredible. And but you know, we're human people, and there's plenty of squabbles in the ashram, plenty of personal confrontation, of course. It wasn't after you kind of thing. It was let's do this together, you know, like that. And
yeah, I wanted to tune into the feeling that you've felt.
Music is just to finish that. It's like the music is like a healing balm. That's what it is. It's something like a healing thing that can contain the emotion of an ashram, so that the meditation can happen, and there's no feeling of stress. The music takes away the stress, takes away the mind, and it just helps us all to move into that space beyond emotion, which is just space and just breath and just bliss. You know, that's the point of music in a community.
I love that, because that was going to be my question in terms of how did you know when you were at Osho's that, you know, you had found what you were looking for in terms of music, and what was the feeling? Because you've described a feeling, and I'm guessing this was the feeling that you're articulating now. This feeling of, bliss, togetherness. How did you know it wasn't hollow?
Well, I was kind of like, it's difficult to put it into words, but when you get a new name, Master gives you a new name, and you're living in a community where that's the name that people respond to you as. So my return. And anyway, life is good, and you know, it's sometimes just cannot quite grasp the words, you know, just
but you can feel it. I felt it in the way you
you know, you can sort of sing it. Everybody's tasted it, everybody's touching it, but when you're in a place like where you take a new name, you suddenly become 1 year old again. You're suddenly free of your past. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares who you are. That you're in a fresh opportunity, a second chance. And like I say, 5 years go by, and then 10 years go by, and in my case, 40 years have gone by. The master's come, and the master's he's gone, but I still feel I'm in community. Look at you. How could I not feel like I'm in a community? You know, it's not like you're not CNN, you know. It's great. And that's you are my community, and that's the gift that I've been given. You know, and it's happened through my life, like to find Osho in the first place, and then to be now to find out Deva, and this amazing journey with her, and then to be, you know, totally in these last years of my life, to be dropped in Costa Rica, and it's it's sometimes it feels, that concept that you're part of somebody in the future's computer game. You actually,
It's a simulation.
actually both of us in some computer game, like do this or that. What we're going to do with Miten now? Or then he, So
Yeah.
that's really my story as far as I can tell you up until now. The next phase in my life, I think, will be up to this last tour. When we finish the tour of
You guys are
Europe.
going through Europe now, yeah?
Yeah, we're going through Europe, some beautiful cities and people. We're looking forward to being back with everybody, and we've started to bring the band back together, and we're all like, yeah, man, it's going to be great. We're all looking forward to playing again with each other, and we call ourselves the Temple Band because every time we play, we begin from the space of being in the temple. So every part of the music that we make is temple music, and whatever we're playing, it's the music of the temple, and so yeah, we're looking forward to it. This will I think be probably, I don't know. I keep saying this will be my last year. I don't know right now. I love to do it, but I also I'm beginning to love being with Mother Nature instead of being in an airplane, instead of being on the stage, instead of being, all that stuff is all great, especially being on the stage and singing. But I'm also loving to watch this little yellow bird, this chickadee, I think they're called, who comes and sort of, washes in the swimming pool when I'm in the pool, things like that. This house here that we've been renting, it's got a swimming pool. It's in the jungle.
In Costa Rica, yeah.
Yes, and Costa Rica magic. So I cannot complain. I'm just doing my best, really doing my best, and I'm not in any way treading water. I know I've still got a lot to learn, and I've still got a lot to do, and if I die tonight, that'll be all right, because I did what I came here to do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that. Miten, in terms of the amount of, because you've been through quite a bit, and then, like in your journey up, down, all around, even, music has meant so much to you on your journey, and it's been such an intimate part of your life, and then even, trusting to let it go, and then trusting it to come back, and it's come back in such vibrancy, and then, like you said, everything was almost a preparation for you to get to Osho, and then from Osho, like, and holding the music there, and then obviously from there, like, realizing that was a preparation for you Endeavor. Like, your relationship with trust, how has that been crafted over the years, and any advice for I don't want to say us youngins, but for those that are looking to trust in life more, what would you say to that?
It's a big one. Trust is the key. It's the big one. And that's why in when you come to be with a guru, you are invited to trust. Like for instance, with Osho giving me this name, it was an invitation to trust something new. We trust that. And I found, I didn't have the feeling, if I'd have had the feeling, this is weird, but I never had that feeling. I only had the feeling, this makes sense to me. So I started that was a small step into trust. Oh, wow. I like that he gave me that. I actually, it does feel better. It does feel like I can remind myself, hey, you are a friend of God. That's what my name means. That's what Prabhu Miten, friend of God. And so I could remind myself, and I didn't have any friends when I came there. I could remind myself, in any dark moments, you're a friend of God. Relax, relax. And then that relaxation, well, I'm going to go and do the meditation. Then I'm like, what depression? There's nothing. And so I feel like, oh, wow, he gave me that. And over the years, those moments when you're falling in the darkness, and you're somehow through um, through some kind of miracle, really, you're caught, as if you're falling down. You're caught. There you go. Go and chant the Kundalini meditation for the next 6 days. You'll be okay. And you go and you chant, and something tells you. Osho never told us to do any one thing ever. He never gave us any dogma, or even though he spoke from thousands and thousands of words and put out amazing books, always transcripted. But he never gave us anything like dogma you have to do. So it was open. It was open, and that's where you learn trust. You can only read about trust. You can't until you experience it. And then you get to a point where, then you trust the guru. And then one day the guru dies, gone, got empty space. Who do I trust now? And you realize there was never a guru. It was only existence. It was all you. You are being held by existence all the time. And whatever's happening to you is a gift. And once you start living like that, the dark places are like, oh, wow, I'm in this anxious feeling, and all I have to do is to go to these places where I've been before, and before I even get there, I'm back in the moment. I've remembered who I am. I've remembered the point, the gratitude, the forgiveness is there again, and it's like no room for the other stuff. And so it's about focusing, on that's what mantras are too. They keep you there. When you start spacing out and getting back into things, chant your mantra. Chant your mantra. You have a friend. If you start chanting, you look for your mantra. You don't have to go to India. You don't have to go. You just Google. You can Google.
And how do you advise people find their mantra? Like, I know you said you can Google it, but and is there do you feel into the essence of kind of what you're working through right now and find a mantra that relates to that body of work, or do you listen into the sounds of it being sung and connect to that, or hybrid, or something like that? What's your process? Yeah.
All of that, man. All of that is said. It's a relationship with the sound. It's because, like I said, there's refined sound bites. So certain sounds come familiar to you. Remember, these are ancient sounds. So they're in us in some way over all the years of all the different humanity cells this has been to create this thing now. Or you go, it feels like there's some blockage. I'm not moving, I'm not moving. Something's not happening in my life. And then there's a mantra for that, So you say, okay, that's it. Take your mantra and chant it. Chant it every night before you go to sleep, every night. And do it for 21 days, non-stop. Make a commitment. 21 days, your mantra. You can sing. Dave has made all these CDs where you can chant 108 cycles, nothing else, no music, just Deva and the tambura.
Sing along with her, yeah.
So she can be with you And then there you go. If you don't, the CDs are finished now, but you can get all that stuff on Spotify. But you can actually chant with David. So you do some research, and if you look on, for instance, those albums on Spotify, you will get not just the running order, but you'll get some kind of explanation of what the mantras are.
Mhm.
So then you look, oh, this is my issue right now. I'm going to chant this one.
Yeah.
You know?
I
And
want this
that's-
acupuncture treatment today.
yeah. And you say, okay, I'm going to experiment. I'm going to do it 21 days. I'm going to do it before I go to sleep. I'm going to spend 10, 15 minutes with my mantra, chanting either on my own or with Deva. I'm going to chant it 108 cycles. She'll sing it with me. It's about 10 minutes. And then that's it. I'm going to go to sleep. And then you just try it. Just trust. That's the difference for me. The Gayatri mantra is just gone. It's just gone right. It's something I've known for sure. For
I'm really
years.
connected to. Yeah. Mithun, you mentioned in terms of a life lived well and coming back to gratitude and forgiveness and that place. What does a life lived well mean to you?
Well, you try your best to be authentic. You try your best to live your truth and not hurt anyone, but know that you will. It's just natural, and you can't not. And
Right.
so in that spirit, we learn the art of forgiveness. And once we I mean, this is an issue for all of us. This is not just, I'm not just not including myself here, but forgiveness. Once I had a situation where I forgave someone. It was very authentic, very real, and it was very true. We'd gone through a big, very ugly kind of exchange, and it was in the ashram. It was with a couple, two people, and I went to them to ask later to ask forgiveness and to accept that 50% of that must have been me because I was there. So, yeah. And so I'm ready to hear, and I came, but they were still really angry, and so I couldn't. There was nothing I could do, but I walked away absolutely free of any emotion. I could feel like, oh, they just don't see it. It's nothing. I could easily forgive that, and I can forgive myself for expecting them to be something else. That I was also something to be forgiven. So it was just like a sense of once I felt that, I felt wow, a freedom. Like it was a taste of freedom. I was not in any way, there was nothing in my path, nothing in the way, like the Ganesh mantra. And I've just felt this sense of openness towards all things. And so, you know, there came a point where there are no more barriers. I'm feeling like one by one, as I get closer and closer to the end of the diving board, all these things, all these amazing teachings are being offered to me, and I'm just in wonder, really. You know, I'm just in wonder at it all. And I made a song once called "In Wonder" for Ocean. At the miracle, and so yeah, man.
I love that. my lucky last question. I wanted to tune into your prayer for tomorrow, like an inspired evolution. It's the last question is usually, what is your hope for tomorrow, for humanity, for the planet, for yourself, or it could be anything. But I guess in this space, knowing how much, well, for me personally, I'm probably speaking from my space. I know your music for me feels like it is prayer. What is your, like, what's your big prayer for the world to come?
I think, when it boils right down to it, its basic thing is Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. That means universal peace. And what it's talking about is not external, it's internal. It's internal. And it's the sound that will take us in to a sense of universal peace, and that's the only, that's all. The rest of it is all just mind churning dreams, as I think Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That's our daily mantra. Whatever happens, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
I love that. Mithun, thank you so much for sharing yourself so abundantly, the wisdom of mantras, the wisdom of music, the wisdom of silence, and tuning in and really listening. And yeah, the lessons of, really what it means to trust and, really live just in our authentic, congruence to life, and how important that is, and how, there is an effortless ability to it if we use some of the tools that are available to us. And on that, thank you, Endeavour, so much for making so many tools just so abundantly available, but then also so abundantly rich and beautiful to listen to as well, and easy to access. I really appreciate that. I will put a link to you guys' Spotify playlist into the show notes here on the YouTube and the podcast show notes. But honestly, just thank you so much for not just today's conversation and the insights, but also just your walk in life, and it's a lifetime's work that informs this conversation, everything that we get to revel in your ecosystem. So thank you so much for sharing that with us here today. And on behalf of myself, the Inspired Evolution Tribe, wishing you all the best going forward. Absolutamente. Thank you so much, Mithun.
Thank you. Pura vida, man. Namaste.
Namaste.
And keep shining your light. Yay. I know you do. You have a big responsibility, so you take care of yourself, man, and you keep shining your light and allow yourself to be loved.
Thank you for your blessings.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave us a comment, and if you want to stay in tune for the new episodes launching every Monday, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay inspired to evolve.